When you think of action, you think of stunts. Vic Armstrong and Wendy Leech have been responsible for some of the greatest moments in cinema history. Superman, James Bond, The Mummy 3. They're also responsible for 3 films that are very near and dear to our hearts.
I think the favourite stunt in the whole of the trilogies would have to be probably in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, the jump from the horse onto the tank. It was involving horses, and although horses have been my life and that was my basic skill, 99% of all my injuries have come from horses. So I knew how technically difficult that was. It was a horse I'd worked with before. I'd actually taken that same horse to Israel on Rambo. Sly Stallone rode him in Rambo. Harrison loved the horse. His name was Huracan, it was a Spanish horse. He in fact tried to buy the horse, Harrison, to bring back to the States, but because he was a stallion and he was an older stallion, 10 or 12 years old, there was a huge importation problem, so he couldn't bring it back, unfortunately. But I knew the horse very well, but I had to teach it to run in a straight line next to a cliff edge. And as soon as I dropped the reins and stood on his back to make the jump, I had to trust that he would run in a straight line. We couldn't get too close to the cliff edge because if it crumbled and slipped away, I'd have the horse and me trapped between the tank and the cliff edge. And it was about 18 feet laterally I had to travel, so there were a lot of things involved. So it may not look probably the most spectacular of all stunts in all the trilogy, but to me, technically, it was one of the most difficult ones.
Not necessarily the most dangerous, but the one that made my heart beat a little bit was running away from the aeroplane, doubling for Karen Allen. And they set up the shot, and we'd done all the fighting beforehand, and then it was just down to Vic and I to run away from the plane as it exploded. Well, as they were setting up for it, you know, you'd be looking around and you're thinking, what? There's no crew to be seen. There's nobody around for miles. They're all hiding behind hills and behind sort of perspex barriers, and you're thinking, this is going to be a big explosion. And then you're thinking, I wonder how big it's going to be. Oh no, I hope my legs work. God, I hope I can run. And all this goes through your mind, and your heart's beating and thinking, and they say action, and you run as fast as you can possibly run, and then all this stuff comes past you. But it wasn't, you know, it wasn't sort of a big dangerous stunt, but that's all the sort of stuff that goes through my mind.
But I did tear my knee up badly on The Last Crusade as well. As usual, it was after the stunts were completed. It was where the truck is driving alongside the tank. Indy stuffed the barrel of the tank with the rock. Sean Connery fires the cannon and blows up the truck, which is running alongside. And the truck does a cannon turnover, big explosion. Well, I was on the top fighting with Simon Crane as Indy, and Simon was the German guy, and we're fighting and punching away. And the truck's alongside, there's a huge explosion, and the articulated dummies fly through the air, and there's petrol gel flying all over the place, and the truck rolled, stopped, and there was a lot of fire laying around. In fact, one of the cameras had got hit by fire gel and was on fire. But I had a guy obviously driving the truck, and I wanted to check that he was safe, so as soon as they shouted cut, I went to jump off the tank, but my foot slipped underneath the tank, but my knee was on top of the bumper bar at the back, so I fell forward, just with my weight on my one knee from 8 feet, and it just ruptured the whole knee, bent it completely the wrong way. So, you know, that was really, really bad. You could get the knee and shake it like that. So I was walking wounded for a long time. But luckily, most of the sequence was riding, and I could actually just let the leg hang there, and I could ride with it hanging there. I didn't have to move the knee too much, but that was very painful.
I've been very lucky. I've picked up terrible bruises and sprained ankles, but nothing. I haven't broken anything. I've been very, very lucky. Yeah. Well, I love doing the Indiana Jones stuff, but I love doing some of the Bond movies too, and the opportunities to travel and to see the world and do things that not many other people get a chance to do. It's pretty cool.
I must say, I went to, years ago we were shooting in Florida, and we got invited up to the Orlando studios, and they got the Indiana Jones show on there, and sat us in the front row. I was terrified they were going to pull me out of the crowd like they do with somebody, and you know, they have to have this guest appearance, which would actually terrify me. But anyway, afterwards they invited us back, and the lad that was dubbing Indy said, "Oh my God," he said, "I was so nervous knowing you were out there, you know." And to me, they were doing a far harder job than we were, because they had one go at it, you know, in front of a live audience, and you know, they're really hitting the ground hard and doing a great job. I thought they were brilliant. But it is quite funny seeing them dressed up, and you see the dolls for sale and all these little things. It's really quite funny.